Gilmore to Andrechuk, shooting, score! Dave Andrechuk hits the 50 mark, down the backing, Clark races him. Holy Mackinac, he's got three!
Good morning, Maple Leaf fans. Welcome to another episode of the Leafs Lounge for Tuesday, April the 2nd. We have a exciting show upcoming. Justin, how we doing? How we feeling?
It was great. It was a great long weekend with Easter. A lot of time with the fam, so a lot of chocolate as well. Not as much as I really wanted, but
so you have a little bit of a chocolate hangover going?
Oh yeah, for sure. What are you? Are you a mini eggs kind of guy, or?
I love a mini egg. I don't think anyone would refuse a mini egg. I'm a big fan. I kind of have to stay away from like the traditional OG Cadbury mini egg, because those things, like the cream eggs, like if I see even a couple of those, I'll just demolish them, and that's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Oh, things are incredible. It's crack. That's crack.
Yeah. But a great weekend though. Since we last spoke on Thursday, Leafs kind of in a hot streak, 5-1, 3-0, 6-4, all wins.
Big time heater.
So yeah, getting hot at the right time.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's been a fun run here. And yeah, obviously 8 games out till we get the more meaningful real games started. But yeah, nice to see kind of things sort of coming together. Obviously, guys stepping up and starting to solidify their role or place in the lineup. But I think we'd probably both agree there's a lot up in the air with guys who have been out of the lineup and trying to figure out where they fit in. But maybe let's just kind of do a quick review of last night's game. Obviously, for me, I think the biggest call out was forget about the fact that they got the 2 points. It was more how they competed physically.
No,
and I think we've talked about this all year. Like, yeah, it looks like they're a tougher team, but we've lost all 4 games to the Bruins, who we might face in the first round. Florida, I think we're 1-1 against up until last night, right? And we still have one more game against them. So I think there was still that kind of like show me, don't tell me, in terms of how tough is this team really going to be when push comes to shove in the playoffs. Last night, and look, I'm never one to put too much stock into one regular season game, but to me, that was a little encouraging. I'm not going to lie. I really liked the way they showed up.
No, I agree. And the biggest catapult for that, in my opinion, Ryan Reaves.
Okay, I was hoping you weren't going to go with like Holmberg, and I'm like, what? Like just some random guy. Yeah.
Reaves really set the tone early. Right on his first shift, he went out there, threw the body, knocked over Mikkola, and I was like, okay. And Reaves was I thought he played a really solid Revo kind of hockey game until the fiasco.
9 hits.
Until the fiasco with 2 minutes left where Keefe decides to put Revo out defending the lead.
Move.
I said,
awful.
I'm there. I'm standing in my living room. I'm like, oh shit, the heart attack's coming back.
Yeah. And I don't know what the thought was there, but yeah.
I see the face off. I'm like, okay, I don't mind Cam Findor. Like, that's your main PKers. And I said, is that 75? Why the fuck is Revo out there?
Like, I don't know. He figured the game was
over. I think he got lost.
No,
I think he got lost. Like, Revo must have went out there, stretch his legs, and he just ended up getting stuck. I don't know.
Or you think he just went rogue, eh? He didn't get the tap on the shoulder. He just went on anyways.
There's no explanation as to why Ryan Reaves would be out there over anybody else.
Pretty much. Yeah. Like I was trying to think, like, was he caught up there and there was an icing and that's why he was out there? But no.
No, it was a face-off. It was a straight face-off. So, weird, but in general, I thought Ryan Reaves played a great game, 9 hits, as you said. And even guys like Matthew Nyes stepped up.
Nyes was good.
He saw Holmberg get knocked out. I thought the hit was clean, and I'm usually not a fan of, reactions after a clean hit like that.
A clean hit, yeah.
But, it's good to see Nyes.
I feel like that's what the NHL has become, where you almost can't give a guy a clean hit Like, how many times had Jake
it's
McCabe
like
given someone a clean hit, then people go after him?
Yeah, but it's like both sides of the coin, right? Because
Yep.
you're gonna be like, oh, why are you doing that? But then it happens to your guy, and you're like, nobody's gonna step up for him. So like,
True. Yeah, it's for sure a two-way road, but at the end of the day, once you kind of move past the whole, whether it's a Nylander or Matthews, if they got hit clean, you're like, yeah, like someone's got to go after him. But then you kind of will look back and like, it was a clean hit. I'd rather someone maybe try to hit one of their good players, but clean, not so much have to like grab a guy and wrestle him down,
No, but then you have 6 hits from Dewar, 6 more hits from McCabe, 4 hits from McMahon, who always brings that kind of
Yeah.
physical presence on the forecheck. It's like
Simone
team.
Benoit was good.
Yeah, Benoit was really good, but like he only has 2 hits on the stat sheet. But like you
Is that all?
notice
Okay.
him out there, and I guess since we spoke last, he did sign that extension, which was nice.
Right.
I know
Right.
you've been a big Benoit supporter for as
sure.
long as we've been talking, and some 3-year deal, low cap hit, and I think that he can,
Hard to complain.
if he can establish himself as a high-end third pair defenseman, then well worth going
and I
forward.
think that's all you need at that kind of contract. I guess for me, and I don't know what your thoughts are, because we obviously brought up Benoit, so I think it's a good time to kind of ask the question. Do you think that guarantees that he's in for game 1? And
No.
You don't think so?
No.
So
Because
you
Connor
think
Timmins got a 2-year deal. Connor Timmins got a 2-year deal under Dubas.
From the previous guy, though. From the previous guy. He didn't get it from Treliving. I think that's more my point.
Even last year, he barely played. I don't.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying there. I just, I
don't think that Keefe puts a lot of stock into how long these contracts are.
I don't know. I just think like your new GM, your new boss, it's not your good friend Kyle Dubas anymore, who's the GM. He just signed a guy to a 3-year deal. Your defense, on a good day is probably a mid group.
Yeah.
And you're gonna sit Benoit for Brody, Labushkin, or Gio?
I completely agree. I don't think that he should come out of the lineup. I think that game 1
guarantees it.
Come game 1, I'm like 85% sure he'll be there.
Fair.
I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
So
I think I'd like it to mean a little bit to Keefe that, okay, this is obviously a guy that maybe I don't think Keefe has overlooked him. Obviously, Benoit has been given an opportunity, but I do think that when, like, if Riley comes back in tomorrow, I assume that means Timmins is out. But then when one of Edmondson or Lilly come back, does that mean that Keefe would think to sit Benoit?
Yeah, and that's the lineup decisions that Keefe will have to really come up to. Maybe he wants to go 11-7, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan of 11-7, but maybe that would be the way they want to do things: to keep Edmondson in, to keep Liljegren in, to keep Benoit in, to keep Brody in.
Yeah,
I don't know. But
it feels like we have too much forward depth now. Like, obviously, it's not amazing, but it's improved over last year, I feel, to the point where I prefer to see 12 forwards in over 7D.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Sorry.
Just on the team toughness note, I guess. Actually, I don't know I forgot where I'm going with this. You go ahead.
All good. So we saw, obviously, Matthews, obviously the big 60 goal in Buffalo. 2 more last night. Are you back in for 70?
Yes.
Is he getting 70? You are, huh?
I'm still there because he's due for that hat trick. He's due for it.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't. I mean, a hat trick would obviously guarantee it. If he gets a hat trick this week, I think it guarantees it.
Yeah, exactly.
But he could almost go a goal a game now and still get it. Like
I'm there.
Pace.
I'm there, especially when Marner comes back. I expect that power play to start clicking again.
Yeah.
because right now it's
So bad right now, dude.
ugh,
It's so bad.
ugh. And it's like I know what they're trying to do by putting Timmins there, but watching the game last
Doesn't
night,
look
I'm like,
good.
it's not Timmins.
Well, it's tough because it hasn't looked great at times with Riley, and it
Yeah,
hasn't
it's
looked great at times with Lily, and
yeah.
now it's looking even worse with Timmins. So I don't know what the option is, unless you
Yeah,
go 5 forwards, but
and
that's so
I don't blame
dangerous.
Timmins. I don't blame Timmins, like he has had little to no practice time with the team, especially not with that kind of group of guys.
No,
So
and
not
he's not
surprised that he's
bad.
struggling.
He's not bad. He just might
No,
not be the answer.
I don't think he's actually played that bad. I think
No.
these last 3 games, all wins obviously makes the guys look a lot better, but man, a lot of these fringe guys have looked good. Like
Yep.
Dewars
Yep.
looked really good. Giordano's looked pretty decent. He scored that goal, and I was like, "Oh man, Gio!"
Snipe show now, eh? Maybe
Like
throw
Gio,
him on the power play.
I go, and Gio's back in the lineup. All of a sudden, the PK starts working. I don't know.
Yeah, the PK has looked a lot better. Like I think Dewar led the forwards in PK time. He looks good
Yeah,
out there. They just gotta stop putting Nylander out there. And I think they brought down his minutes a little bit.
He's more of the end of the power play now.
Right,
Like the last
right.
20
He needs to be.
seconds,
Yeah,
to maybe try and catch a tired group, so he can use like his speed to catch a shorthand chance.
yeah.
I
Like
feel like
exactly.
that's where he's best.
I'd almost just say, you know what, Nylander, just hang out at the center line and wait for maybe we ice the puck or clear it, and you can get a breakaway because he's of no value in the defensive zone.
Yeah,
he's not even trying to get in the way of a shot.
the PK as it is right now, I'm actually quite happy with like the top 4 guys, and I know that once you have Martin Yarncroke, they're gonna be
Yep.
in there as well. But like the Dewar Camp, and then you go Holmberg McMahon, like it's working right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I don't
McMahon
mind
has
our forward. I don't mind the forward options. It's the blue line guys I got a problem with. I don't think you can put Brody out there. Okay with McCabe being out there. I don't think you can have Lily or Riley out there. Obviously, when Edmondson comes back, he's got one
yeah,
spot there. I'd put Simone Benoit out there.
yeah.
And then I don't know, maybe it's
Maybe
Labushkin.
Labushkin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not great. I just don't want
I
Brody.
know.
He was like Brody again was on. I know he got, I don't know if you follow this, but he got
Yeah, he
the
got the
belt
belt. Yeah.
for what? I was trying to figure out why Matthews gave it to him. For what? I guess for the PK being good.
Yeah, I
But
think that's
Brody
what
was on for 3 or 4 goals that Florida got.
yeah, I mean, I thought the first one against Sammy was just like,
Ugly.
how are you not like it was the flutterest puck, and I guess he just couldn't find
Horrible.
it. That's what they're
Yeah.
saying on the broadcast. I was like, come on.
You kind of have to. I get. I mean,
And
Wallace
there was
had
another
a couple
one.
of those.
There was
But yeah.
another one later on where it was I think it was Reinhardt's goal from the hash, like the dot, and I was like, come on, like just
Oh, the
seems like a
Sam
glove
Bennett.
save.
Sam Bennett.
Sam Bennett, yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
It seemed like an average goalie would make that a glove save.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I
then
think you need that one.
Samsonov would have those moments where it's like, oh man, what a save. And he had a couple against Buffalo as well, where it's like, oh damn, like Samsonov. And
He
then
was amazing against Buffalo, no doubt.
and then it's like then he lets in a few stinkers, and I'm like, damn. I think
Yeah.
3 of the 4 goals Florida scored weren't very good. And
Yeah, you can make that argument.
The Reinhardt goal that was the ugliest goal of the night for the defensive structure of the Leafs.
Yeah, that was bad.
Like,
He got there. Yeah,
yeah,
he
it
should
felt
have
like
been left open.
Nyes was just standing next to him and didn't pay him any attention, and McCabe was kind of there as well, and he wasn't looking at Reinhardt, who has 52 goals.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah, you might want to cover him. He's good.
yeah.
Yeah, like
So,
it just seems like anytime the puck is in our net lately, it's been the Nye, Robertson, Holmberg line.
oh,
And Brody's out there a lot. David Camp is out there a lot. Like these are the guys, obviously not the forwards like the Nyes, Holmberg, Robertson trio, but Camp, Brody, these are the guys that I feel Sheldon Keefe is still going to trust to protect the lead. And it's like, I don't think I want those guys out there, because you saw a lot of like comments last night, like, why is the fourth line out there in the dying moments? And I get Ryan Reeves probably shouldn't be out there, but isn't that what a fourth line should be doing for you?
No,
Protecting a
no.
lead?
I don't
If,
think
if,
that.
if it's a good fourth line,
I
like
don't
a
think.
fourth
I
line
don't
in
think.
Colorado would do that.
I don't think even the fourth line in Colorado would be out there for if they're protecting a 2-goal lead late in the third. I don't
It's
think so.
definitely not McKinnon out there. He's not out there.
I don't think that it's their fourth line. I don't even know who's on their fourth line, but I can pretty much guarantee it's not going to. Okay, think of it like Florida. Florida's fourth line has Ryan Lomberg on it. I think Ryan Lomberg had 2 shifts the entire game. So I wouldn't exactly say that he's going to be out there protecting a lead. Here's their fourth line. Kevin Stenlund, I didn't even know he was playing last night. Gadjevich,
I
I think
didn't
I
see
heard
him
his
too
name
much.
once. And Ryan Lomberg, that's not exactly your defending a
No,
lead. I
fair.
think
So
that's when
perhaps Florida is a bad example, but
I
traditionally
just think that
you
the
don't
fourth
have your
line.
Matthews Nylander on protecting a lead. I mean,
No, but you have your best 3 forwards, defensive forwards, 2-way guys.
so in your mind, who is that right now? 3 forwards,
Fully
2
healthy.
deep, protecting a lead.
You're protecting a lead late. I would want Dewar, Kampf, Marner.
I probably wouldn't deviate much from that. Kampf, I think, for the defensive face-off, because he's kind of decent on either side, but overall not exactly the greatest face-off guy.
But he's over 50%, so
barely, barely.
And then Dewar can come in if Kampf gets kicked out. So
like, I mean, I guess that's the point, because I don't think anyone's suggesting it should be Bertuzzi, Domi, Matthews, Nylander, Nyes even. Like, there's not a lot of great options. So, like, I get it. You don't want Ryan Reeves out there, but we're a very top-heavy team, and those forwards are not exactly the guys you want in the last 2 minutes of a game. The majority of them. Like, obviously, you said Mitch Marner. Sure, I wouldn't mind seeing him on, but contrary to a lot of the point of views on Mitch Marner as a great defensive player, I don't think he's a shutdown guy. Is he a hard worker? Will he block shots and work hard up there? Yeah. But a shutdown guy, I'm not sure we have too many of those, if any.
Yeah. And kind of what I was going to say before I forgot was I see a lot of people on Twitter kind of saying the team toughness has gone up without Marner.
Mm-hmm.
And they're blaming Marner's presence. What do you think of that?
I don't think it's that far off. I think I want to see how the team looks with Marner back in, because I don't think the entire year we've seen the type of physical compete that we've seen over the last handful of games. I wouldn't put it all on Marner, like maybe some of those tweets suggested, but you've got a guy, Mitch Marner, who often plays, 24, 25 minutes a game in all situations. I don't think it's that far-fetched to say that the team looks very different on the ice when he's playing versus not. And this isn't me saying don't play him. It's just more, I think we are probably a tougher team to play against when we don't have Mitch Marner in. I think that's probably valid, but not confirmed yet.
See, like, I don't really know how much I believe all that, because Marner's not out there stopping Nyes from stepping up for his line mate. You know what I mean?
No, but
Marner's
when he's out there, when Marner's out there, most of the time we're not winning puck battles, and he's out there a lot. So you could argue that the other team, when Marner's out there, is probably tilting the ice. Maybe not so much on the scoreboard, but in terms of momentum, all that stuff that like all the boomers talk about, like, oh, we got to be physical. We got to send a message. All that stuff that I get it. At the end of the day, it might not matter as much as some of those old heads would like to believe. But come playoff time, I think setting that physical tone does tend to matter. And I think it's been an area where the Leafs have fallen short in the past. I'm not suggesting that in this upcoming playoff year.
So wild. That's so wild to me that's still like a thing, because I think Dubas actually did a decent job of putting the team surrounding the team with physical presences. I think that
Last
that's
year
why
he
he
did.
paid for a guy like Foligno. That's why Clifford was there. That's why Simmer was there. Like we had Jumbo, like Muzzin. Like these guys are like big, like they're supposed to be like grimy guys. They're gonna give you the works in the corners. Like those are the kind of guys that
He had
Dubas could
some
do
guys
with. And
there.
now,
But
what's
but
that?
you can't compare Kyle Clifford, who on a good game you want to see
Oh, a
play
cup champ.
4 minutes, to Bertuzzi and Domi,
Cup
who you
champs
could
though.
easily play. Yeah, yeah. Like no, I think Dubas did a good job last year in terms of adding toughness. It didn't work because I think it was too little, too late. But yeah, I don't blame him for not trying at least to add that component.
Yeah.
But now I think we've just taken it up a notch even more because
No,
you
I,
might
I
have,
definitely I definitely like what Bertuzzi's been doing
yeah,
lately. I mean, he's going to hit 20 goals, which if you asked me 2 months ago, I wouldn't have known if he was going to hit 10.
for
So,
real, yeah. He's come up.
I guess like he's turning up at the right time. JT's been playing great hockey for like the better part of a month now. I
Yep.
think Domi's looked good alongside Matthews, but sometimes he makes these boneheaded mistakes
Oh yeah.
where I'm just like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, he's an absolute gas can defensively too. So that's
Oh yeah.
why Bertuzzi and Domi with Matthews, it's been good, but I have a feeling they're putting Mitch Marner right back there.
I see it. I think so as well. I see some people saying potentially either just load the second line, put Marner there with Nylander and JT, or
Yeah.
give Marner his own line and let Domi kind of work alongside Matthews. Which for a
But then
seven-game
who would you
series,
put Marner with? You like his own line, you're talking like Nyes, Holmberg type thing?
um,
Yarncroak?
maybe a Yarn Croak. But I don't know. See, like I would put Nylander on his own line
Tough,
before I
right?
put Marner on his own line.
Yeah, like I
Because
like that idea. I just don't know if there's enough good centers to go around if you're playing Domi with Austin Matthews. Like you're going to play Marner
you have
or
Holmberg.
Nylander
If you
with
go
Holmberg.
Holmberg, uh, Yarncroke, Nylander, is that terrible third line? I think that could generate some
Not terrible.
offense.
Not
And it
terrible.
has a good defense offense balance.
Yeah.
And then you have McMahon stay in that top six role with
Yep.
JT and Marner, and then you have the top line as is. And anytime maybe often icing where they have tired guys out there, then Marner comes over instead of Domi kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, you
Like
can go to the
Keith would
old
have to play with
Keef
the bench.
blender.
Yeah, you play with the bench a bit, but there's definitely a way that you can separate the core four guys to
Yeah.
make three really good lines. I don't know if
Yeah,
he's going
because
to do it, and I don't know if it's the
exactly.
right thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah, like I wouldn't mind seeing like even when we did our hopeful playoff lineups, whatever that was 2 weeks ago. And like I was saying, I wouldn't mind having a look at Domi, Marner, and Matthews. I still wouldn't mind that. I don't think Bertuzzi, Matthews, Marner needs to really be experimented with anymore. We saw that a lot at the beginning of the year
I don't know. Maybe,
with Bert,
maybe.
with the way Bert's played.
Bertuzzi's
You give it
playing
another
different
shot?
now.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think I might. I think I might give it a shot at this point. Why not?
Yeah. No, it wouldn't be a terrible idea. I think there's enough. Hopefully, Marner comes back tomorrow. I
Soon.
mean, we'll find out
Yeah.
if he does the full practice again today. Because, yeah, I'd like to see what exactly Keefe has in his head of where Marner's going to go. And I'm probably overthinking it because it's very likely going to be either Marner, Matthews, Bertuzzi or Marner, Matthews, Nyes. The only things that
I don't think
Keefe is
not. I
really
think
trying.
Nyes has found his. He's found his spot, kind of in.
Yeah, he should be a bit lower down. I agree. I just don't know if Sheldon Keefe, I don't know, if he'll go back to old habits. I worry about that.
See, like, all right. I guess now we have to get to the most pressing topic.
Oh,
And
okay.
Nick Robertson. All right. As he is, let me ask you this. Like, who do you think would make more of an impact come playoff time?
Mm-hmm.
Nick Robertson or Matthew Nyes?
Nice, without question. Without question.
But like,
unless you can guarantee me that Nick Robertson will get a breakaway every game, then it's Matthew Nyes. And I don't think he's going to do that every game.
I think Nick Robertson goes out there and plays a C- level game every night. And then he'll end up
I don't know if that sounds like a victory lap.
And then he ends up scoring. And you're just there. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, hold on. He scores, it feels like, every game.
Well, recently, yeah. And look, I'm not arguing that he shouldn't be on the radar. Then he turns the puck
over 8 times.
Exactly. Like, he definitely should be on the radar for the game 1 lineup. But who does he play ahead of right now?
I don't know.
Exactly. Like, you've got, if Mitch Marner comes back in tomorrow, you could argue that Keith maybe sits Revo. I hope not, but he could sit Revo. Would he sit Holmberg?
Against Tampa?
I don't know.
Way.
I hope not. I hope not, but he's not. I mean, does he take Robertson out after he scored 2 goals in his last 2 games?
I don't know.
I don't think he's willing to do that either. So it's tough, but yeah, if we're thinking it is Robertson who comes out for Marner, if he's out tomorrow, he's definitely out when Marner and Yarncroke are available, right?
I mean, right? Yeah. At this point, I'm like watching the Buffalo game, and I see that disaster in their own zone between him and Nyes, just fumbling the puck.
A disaster he created, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, Nyes sends him in on a breakaway and he scores. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you don't need that element. I just don't know if it will be available to you like it was against the Buffalo Sabres. And I know he did it against Florida last night too.
And then last night he gets the breakaway, filthy finish, great goal. But then in the second period on the power play, he had a brutal turnover at our own blue line where he just, like, seemingly he wanted to go end to end. And he just ran right into the Florida guy, turns the puck over, and we're lucky that it didn't turn into a shorthanded chance.
Exactly.
And he had a couple other plays where I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's like that game against Carolina where he swings at the puck 10 feet over his head, takes a high sticking penalty, then comes back and scores a goal. And you're just like, is this what Nick Robertson is?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because I definitely, more so than I would have said last week, I'm obviously more on board with him being a thought of being in the game 1 lineup. Beyond that, I don't know if I'm there yet, in terms of saying like, yeah, I want to definitely see him in the game 1 lineup if we're playing Buffalo or Florida. I don't think it would be crazy to suggest him being in there, but I don't know. You got Yarncroke coming in. You got Marner coming in. We know they're 100% in. I just don't think he's in the top 12.
Yeah, I don't think he is either. And it's so weird though, because he's gonna score maybe 15 goals this year.
Yeah. It's nice to have options because we haven't had that in the past. It's like, yeah, I guess it's got to be Zach Aston Reese and Kerfoot and Engvall and Yarncroke again, and maybe Colin Blackwell. But like these guys should not be in a playoff lineup for any team.
I don't know.
Forget about a cup contender.
Every time I see Robertson go out there and do something stupid, then score, I'm like, man, I know Josh is shaking his head right now.
Yeah, that's pretty much the exact reaction I had because I'm just like, oh, guys, Twitter is going to be off the rails again because everyone's like, you see, there's Robertson, put him in.
Yeah,
he's got to play with Matthews.
I saw so many people saying, that's a future 40-goal scorer.
Yeah.
That's 40 goals. I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Clueless and delusional fans.
The Nick Robertson propaganda is back. Oh, no.
Yeah. And actually, to kind of keep on the topic of maybe not as much delusion, but the whole goalie conversation, like after the Buffalo game where Sammy was without a doubt brilliant, he wasn't, we were talking about it already, so I'm not going to talk too much about his performance last night, but he was far from great last night.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of, the sentiment after Buffalo was, yeah, it's his net, done. I even saw like guys, like reputable guys that cover the Leaf team be like, yeah, how do you not have Sammy in game one? And I'm like, can we pump the brakes a little bit here?
A lot of time.
Like, I'd give Sammy the edge right now. I think it would be tough to say, yeah, put Wall in no matter what, obviously. But to say it's Sammy's net and don't even talk about it, I don't know. After last night, I saw a lot of the things with Sammy that I worry about. I think he again looked like he got shot 3 or 4 different times. Like, he's always hurt. And you wonder, like, oh, okay, is he done? Like, I don't know what's going on. And then it was funny because, like, taking a little bit of a tangent here, but I don't know if you caught the first intermission last night. Colby Armstrong was going on about the heroics of Samsonov in that first period. And I guess because he loved the fact that there was that one where it was like inching towards the goal line. And Sammy reached back and pulled it out. It's like, yeah, great. It was a puck that got through him.
Yeah.
He scrambled back to find it. But Colby Armstrong was like saying, like, yeah, I don't know where the Leafs would be without Samsonov in that period. And I'm like,
we dominated that period.
Totally. 85% expected goals, despite having Florida on the power play 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And dominating at that point the hits, the shots. And Colby's like, yeah, where would he be without Samsonov? And it's like,
this is what
dude, pay attention.
I despise with all my heart the Sportsnet broadcast. If I could listen to Joe Bowen on the radio and I could somehow sync it with my TV, I would do that every single time. But I hate,
well, especially when Sportsnet has like the B panel. It was the B panel last night.
Later in that panel, they talked about their burning question. Who's the better all-around player, Barkov or Matthews? And I had a brain aneurysm when that guy said Barkov because he's pass first. I said, what does that even mean? You're
I didn't even hear that segment.
I said, that guy they had to have told him that someone has to say Barkov. There's no way you actually believe that Barkov's better than Matthews.
I mean, he's definitely better defensively than Matthews.
He is. All around, Barkov did win a Selke. Matthews has not won a Selke. No, but I think when someone is just so much better offensively.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I was like, there's Matthews, in my opinion, is consensus top 3 player in the league.
Okay.
I think you could put.
So hold on.
I'd have him
3 forward or top 3 player overall. You're a player.
I think. Well, it's so hard because you're gonna come in here and you're gonna say, oh, well, McDavid obviously, McKinnon, Makar, maybe you'd say Cooch. I don't know if you're there. I'm not there. Maybe.
No, I think I'd have Matthews over Kucherov, but yeah, I'd probably have. I mean, look, it's not like I'm saying Austin Matthews isn't anywhere near the top 5. He's a top 5 for me. I just don't know if I'd put him in the top 3 over Makar.
Okay, I'd settle for 4. I'd be fine at 4.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyways, that Sportsnet thing, and then when that guy said Barkov, and then Friedman immediately calls him out. He's like, you're like so wrong. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, like you can't have Anson Carter and Colby Armstrong on. Like they're both terrible. I can handle
broadcast.
Warren, Friedman. I can handle those guys. I
want a Leaf broadcast. I don't mind Justin Bourne and Nick Kypreos because I feel like
they're okay.
They speak for a lot of boomer Leafs Twitter, especially Kypreos.
That's fair.
Kypreos reminds me of a lot of the people I see on Twitter, and Justin Bourne's more of like the analytical version of the people on Twitter.
Yeah, he's big on the analytics. I feel with like Nick Kypreos, and I know he probably would love the Leafs to win, but he has so many like negative and pessimistic takes, and everything is the sky is falling.
I'm pretty sure he likes Nick Robertson, which is so wild to me.
He does. Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't think based on his personality and his playing style when he did play, he'd be in the Nick Robertson
I remember when
club.
Kypreos was on Hockey Night in Canada all those nights ago, And I'd always complain to my dad. I'm like, this Kyprios guy, he doesn't know anything. I felt like everything he said was just so bad.
I mean, he's very passionate, and he's all about like the hot take. Like he wants to be controversial when it doesn't require it. Like he'll go on and be like, yeah, you know what? Don't be surprised. Matt Murray is the Leafs game 1 goalie. So no, he won't be. No, he won't be. Like I get that that's going to like be clickbait and you want to do that. There's no way you could think that today. If you want to like say, I know for sure that Samsonov, Wall, and Martin Jones will all get injured. Yeah, sure. That's a great possibility. But to say that, don't be shocked if Murray is your goalie. Okay, great. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No, but it's just the whole Sportsnet feed for me. I'm so done with it.
It's weak.
Whenever the TV deal ends, I think it's either this year or next year. I can't wait. And I'm just hoping that Bell Media is preparing to just take over completely, and so I can go back to watching all the games on TSN.
No, I'm totally with you there. Definitely more of a TSN guy. Before we get to the next topic, just want to kind of let people know, because I see we actually have quite a few viewers right now, up to like 11 viewers. If there's anyone who wants to throw in a comment, even maybe wants to come and join us here to ask a question or ask a comment, just post something in the comment board and we'll bring you through. So anyways, what else do we got? Obviously Tampa tomorrow, waiting on seeing health of Marner and Riley. What else do we got? In terms of, I guess, looking ahead to playoff matchups, do you have any more confidence or a lean in terms of who you'd like to see the Leafs play if you had the choice? Or are you like, we got to go through a gauntlet no matter what, bring on whoever?
I think that whoever we face, I think right now the focus should be on catching Florida and get that 2 seed, which is
4 points back with the game in hand.
Yeah, and
could do it.
Another head-to-head against them.
Right.
So I think that would be really nice. Florida's kind of fluttering at the right time.
Yeah, and Florida's they're playing the Habs tonight, so it probably should be easy 2 points, but it's a back-to-back for them, so you never know. That would be nice if they can drop. And I think Tampa Bay is in action too, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check.
Yeah, I think
there's a lot of games tonight.
Tampa lost last night. They're not playing tonight.
Tampa's off, yeah. So just Florida's going. And then
I'm not going to sit here and say we want Florida or we want Boston in the first round. Because in my eyes, we're going to face one of them in the first round, and then I think we'll face Tampa in the second round. So,
you think Tampa's going to upset
as it stands right
Bruins
now,
or whoever?
I think as it stands right now, I think I'd take Tampa over Boston in the series.
I mean, I think for most that would be a hot take, but I'm not hating it.
So.
Not hating it.
I think Tampa is just better, and we get to face them 2 more
playoff
times.
Proven. So. Playoff proven. There's something to be said for that. Like everyone's always talking about it. Doesn't matter.
We face them 2 more times. That should be fun.
Yep.
So
I think I'm in the same boat. Like even if we were to drop to the wild card, which doesn't seem likely anymore, like I wouldn't kind of be opposed to thinking the Rangers or Carolina could be a favorable matchup. But at the same time, I wouldn't say like, oh, thank God we got the Rangers or Carolina. They're all going to be tough. So bring on whoever and we'll kind of see where we're at. But I guess one more question on the playoff sort of preview and matchup. Where are you in terms of confidence or a belief that this team right now has a better chance to have a deep playoff run? Not saying they will, but has a better chance than any previous team with this core.
Well, basically,
are you there?
Better than last year? Is that the question, basically?
Or even like prior years, like I think like last year's team probably was better than the previous edition. So sure, any I guess edition of the core are you at the point where you're saying right now what we've got going on is probably our best chance for a deep playoff run? Yay or nay?
That's so tough. I
Yeah.
think I'm probably I think I'm more pessimistic than I was last year. I
Ooh,
felt
okay.
I felt more
Do
confidence
tell.
last year going into the playoffs
Yeah.
than I do this year, just
Okay.
because I really liked what Ryan O'Reilly brought.
Yeah, I think all of us did. I think all of us were thinking that was the last ingredient.
I
Fair.
thought that was the final piece going into
Yeah.
it. So, yeah, this year it would make me feel a lot better if Matthews scored 70.
Wait, so if he scores 70 goals, then it's parade time? Is your thought?
No, but then I'd probably hop on the board of, yeah, Matthews could put us on his back and we could win a round. So,
Okay. So only if he scores 70. If he
I
finishes with
think
68, he's not good
actually
enough.
the best team I think the Leafs had, like, going that had the best chance of going all the way was the COVID season where we lost to the Habs, and
Well, especially because of the path we had to go through. It was right
yeah,
there.
it was right there for the taking. Yeah,
Yep.
and that was healthy Muzzin. That was like the full team. We had Galchenyuk having the best season for like his last 8 years in that second line role. He
You're
looked pretty
not allowed to
decent.
bring up Galchenyuk's name.
No,
No Galchenyuk or Travis Dermott on any episode here. We can't. I don't want to think about those turnovers against the Habs.
yeah. And I man, like that was the playoff run for me where I was like that was it. Like what the
Yeah,
Habs did, we could have easily done that.
for sure.
So
Well, and the good thing about the way the Leaf mind works is we were able to quickly turn off our minds from that was the year for us to win the cup.
and next year's
Yeah,
the year.
who cares that we lost? It was a COVID year. It didn't count.
It didn't count.
It didn't.
It's a fake. It
Exactly.
was though.
Totally.
Like,
Yeah.
like the Montreal,
My
like
point exactly.
that was such a fake playoff run for them. I stand by that. It was though, like because they didn't have anywhere close to the same season next year. I think they're right back in the top 5 drafting again. It was a
Well,
fake
and look, I
season.
mean, the Habs wouldn't have made the playoffs if they weren't in that crappy North
They were like
Division.
they had like a 400 points percentage. They were
Yeah,
terrible.
they were the worst team. Yeah. But I mean, Habs fans are still celebrating that, So, yeah, I guess it depends on the audience. Habs fan thinks feels that was the most important playoff run in the history of the NHL, whereas Leaf fans say, I don't even remember what
Fake.
happened.
It
I don't know if they were even playing hockey that year.
I don't believe in the bubble years.
Yeah. Where else was it going to go? We've done the goaltending. We pretty much covered the lineup. Matthews. Anything else in terms of? I guess in terms of looking. Oh, the one thing we didn't cover. Did you see the college free agent? Was it Jacob Quillen that we signed?
Oh yes, nice.
That's pretty big. Sounds like there were a lot of teams going after him and making offers. Seems like a good get.
I temper my expectations for college free agents because
You don't think he's the next Austin Matthews?
There's more Jimmy VCs than there are Tyler Bozaks.
100%. 100%. Yeah. I just kind of like the fact that obviously in a off season where I'm wondering where we're going to fill in those gaps that we have right now. I mean, we know Bertuzzi, Domi, Brody, Lilly potentially. There's going to be a lot of spots to fill. This guy at least could get a look in training camp because, I mean, obviously everyone's excited about what Minton and Cowan could potentially do. But now you're bringing in a guy who's a little bit older, 22 years old, could be someone who maybe is not ready to assume a key role, but could provide some competition. And at whatever it is, $850K right now, that could be a good option if this kid has any sort of legit talent or potential impact. Odds are he starts off with the Marlies, obviously, but he could be an option. So I'm excited about that.
No, he'll spend the rest of this season with the Marlies. Hopefully they go on a playoff run together and he can get some experience there. He'll probably be there next season as well. And what he should be fighting for right now is to be the first or second guy up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like in that Steve's role where he could get called up if the ship's burning down and we need a guy for a game.
Yeah, no, totally agree. And I think it'll be fun to see what kind of relationship him and Matthew Nyes has, given that it was his goal that knocked Nyes out of the the college tournament there. So that could be a fun one. I think they even asked Nyes about it. He's like, yeah, I don't really know too much about him, but obviously I'm going to welcome him, really happy for him and all that.
Yeah, the very PR trained answer.
Yep. Yeah, he's already been around the Leaf PR team a lot. Oh, actually, here's one we have to get to, because this has been a hot topic, and I was taking a little bit of heat from people defending him based on what my POV was. I don't know if you caught it, so if you don't, I
think I know where you're going, but yeah.
Yeah, the Mitch Marner media from, I want to say Friday.
Yeah.
Where he just went off on the media for asking him about the injury.
Okay. I don't know if went
off. Well, no, maybe not went off, but he was pretty darn snarky.
The quote, when I first saw the quote that David Alter put up, I was like, damn, that looks bad.
Right.
Super out of context quote. I think he's still, it was still a little bit sass, but I think that it's like he's been asked about it so much. I think he was just annoyed with how much there's been speculation around the injury, and I think he was just fed up with all the questions about it. I also think that he wants to keep it on the low. I don't think he wants other teams to know that he's nursing an ankle.
No, and I'm fine with that. And like, look, I get it's not the easiest thing having to answer the same darn question every time from the media, but it does come with the territory.
Yeah.
And you see the way the guys, like, I'm not saying Austin Matthews hasn't ever been snarky with the media, but for the most part, Matthews, JT, Riley, Nylander, they recognize that, okay, I'm going to answer this question. Revo's amazing at me. He's probably wondering why they don't talk to me more. But like the thing I didn't like about what Marner did is when they asked him, like, yeah, so on that play, what happened kind of looked like a weird play. Marner was like, yeah, you guys can speculate on what the injury is. And then I don't know who it was from the media. He's like, oh, is it not a high ankle sprain? And Marner's like, I don't know. You guys do whatever you want or say whatever you want. I just found that kind of weird. And I'm not saying he's a terrible guy and you've got to get rid of him now.
No.
That felt a little bit weird.
I saw comments more along the line of, look, he's being a little baby again. Oh, cry more, Marner. You're such a crybaby. You're ruining the team's culture. Stuff like that.
And I'm not there. I'm not saying I'm there.
It's like, man,
I'm not there.
I think people are just so used to getting the same PR trained answer of, yeah, but we're going to bounce back. I feel stronger than ever. Great. Shout out the team for helping me out. Like stuff like that when he gives an honest answer of how he feels, people aren't ready for it. I think that
I don't think they care so much about him being honest. It's about, you don't have to, like, it seemed like even before the media got a hold of him, because I saw the entire interview with him, you could tell he came to fight. He came to fight and he was ready to jump down their throat no matter what they asked. I didn't think that there was enough there for him to, and not that he flew off the handle or anything, but it was like, okay, Mitch, is there something else going on that you want to talk to us about? It kind of felt like, do you need to take time out here? Like, I don't know. And I even saw like some of the reaction from like some of the beat writers were like, yeah, that was kind of weird for Mitch. And here's the quote. Like, so it seemed like most of the media guys were kind of put off by it too. Not that they made a huge deal about it, but it just felt like,
yeah, here's the quote. He said, I've been watching every game. You guys have been talking about it every single game. I think you guys can say whatever you want. It's behind me now. Stuff happened, and you just go on from it.
And isn't this the same guy, Mitch Marner, that told us a couple years ago he doesn't go on socials anymore, that he doesn't care what the media says? I've
Like,
always
he
heard
said
that
he
from
was
him.
watching the games, and it's a lot of the Cuthbert and Chris
He
Johnson.
seems to care quite a bit what people say. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I hope that he's staying mentally strong, because in the past we have seen that Marner takes, I think, as the Toronto boy, he takes a lot of burden on himself.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so I'm hoping
And look,
that
it's a tough gig. Like, I'm not trying to like say he's got to be like happy-go-lucky every time. And yeah, eventually the guys like Crosby and McDavid, who give like the driest answer every time they're asked a question, and hats off to them. They always seem to just, echo and repeat the exact same thing. Yeah, it was a tough game tonight, and we just got to go to practice tomorrow and refine and work on our things. And, it's nice to have a guy like a Revo, like a Nylander, who shows some personality.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like for me, it's like, and I think you were kind of going there where it's like, I need to know that Marner, his mental game is where it needs to be. And, I'm not saying he's going off the deep end and he won't ever be able to get focus on the game. But we have seen this from him, like when they do when they've had the playoff exit interviews, Mitch Marner is always the guy who, instead of like you get from Austin Matthews, we're obviously very disappointed with the result. We trust the group. We got to just come back better next year. Mitch Marner is always the guy who takes it the next step and be like, yeah, you guys don't think we have what it takes, and that's fine, but we don't care what you think. Like,
yeah,
dude, just don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I know.
Like, everyone knows that the players don't care what the media thinks. But
at least
the fact that you need to, right. But the fact that you need to remind us that you don't care means you do.
It's like, I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
Yeah. I'm not mad, but I am going to raise my voice and get all flushed.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. Like, LeBron does this thing every year approaching playoffs, or he has in the past. I don't know if he's doing it anymore, but he goes on this zero dark 23 where he turns off media, and it's supposed to be him locking in for playoffs. That's it.
Seems to work.
I'm just going on dark.
Yeah.
Going dark and just stay away from everything. Not going to watch any talk shows, no sports shows. Just lock in on myself, go to practice, shoot arounds, everything like that. And it works. I don't know if a lot of teams do it. Something tells me Torts probably does it with his guys. The coach just be like, you're staying off social media from now until the end of the season.
Yeah.
With 7 games to go, lock in. We're going.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think Keefe is ever going to be that coach to ever try to tell them to not kind of have their own, hobbies and stuff like that and be on socials. Obviously not, because I don't think there's too many teams that have players who are more active on socials. Like every time on Instagram, there's a new story posted by Marner or Nylander. Domi does a lot. Yep. Domi does a lot for sure. And I think that's okay. I think in the era we're in right now, to ask your entire team of early to mid 20-year-olds to throw your phone away in April.
Exactly. And then pick it up again in hopefully June,
Exactly. Yeah. They're going to be like, screw you, coach. Like, it's hockey. This isn't my entire life. I'm not going to take my phone or put it in the drawer for the next 2 months. No chance.
Yeah, which I get it, but it would be nice to just be like, all right, we're going to stay off socials and we're just going to focus headlong on playoffs.
Sure. Yeah. Ain't happening, but yeah, it's definitely a nice thought, Justin. I agree with that. What do you need to see? Obviously, tomorrow, Tampa Bay. I think we're getting into those games now, especially once we figure out that maybe we won't catch Tampa or Florida, that all these games should just be about what kind of thing do we need to see more of? What player or what line combinations do we need to see to feel more confident? What would be like one or two things that you would like to see improved or actually just show up for you to feel really good about this team going into the postseason? I know I'm asking that cold, so it's tough, but anything come to mind?
Well, the easy answer is the power play,
Uh-huh.
but we're going to go with I want to see more from Holmberg.
Ooh, random. I like that. Out of left
Holmberg.
field. Nice one.
Because I feel like he has moments off. I'm talking more offensively. You see on that line, especially lately, like it's Nyes and Robertson who are doing like the work.
Yeah.
And like that's and I want to see Holmberg. Holmberg does have some skill, and it seems like Keefe is setting him up to be that 3C come playoffs.
Yeah.
It
Add
does
some
seem
more
that's
like
where we're going.
defensive
And that's a big
awareness.
role. That's a big
For
role,
sure.
especially on this Toronto team with kind of more offensively minded top 6 guys, where Holmberg will be tasked with some hard matchups. And I just feel like if he's going to get pinned in the D zone for those entire matchups against, say, a Sam Bennett line, I'm not saying he was last night, but just for example, I just think that he needs to have more consistent offensive presence. And I don't think it's really going to happen with that line with Nyes and Robertson along his wings. But maybe when Yarncrook comes back, he'll most likely slot in on that line with him. It'll be interesting to see how it looks.
Yeah, I think that's good because like we obviously haven't had whether it's a third line or even a fourth line with any of these, playoff runs where you could feel really good about it. Like it's not like
third and fourth line that's not just going to go out there and play zero, like just play even, play in the neutral zone. I want a third line that
cardio.
The cardio, the Kerfoots, the Engvalls, the cardio guys. They're going to go out there.
Merchant line.
Nothing happens when they're out there.
Right.
Is that, I want to, like, if Holmberg does have, like, he has these flashes of moments where he puts his shoulder down and he has like a one-hand backhand flick that actually almost goes in.
Yeah.
But so
well, and that's why, I'm more encouraged about this team because I don't know if you have a fourth line that would really intimidate the opposition, but I think you find at least have a third line.
Yeah,
that if you put the right guys on there, they're not just going to be out there, doing their cardio. They might create some scoring chances. They might, depending on who's out there, they might be able to defend. Like, for me, I don't think he's going to get that shot because I think Keefe has basically made it clear he wants him on the fourth line. But really? I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Dewar. No, I'm talking about Dewar.
Oh,
Dewar as a potential 3C.
Yeah.
I think he might have more offensive instincts and awareness than Holmberg. It's close, but I think there's more there with Dewar. Yeah. There might be more there with Dewar, and he's also more physical.
I like what Dewar is showing alongside Kampf, and he has chemistry from playing with Reeves in the past. And I think that having that kind of him and Kampf neutralize what Reeves lacks, and it's a way for Reeves to potentially get in one or two more games come playoff time.
Yeah, because I was even thinking about a potential like Nyes, Dewar, McMahon. Wouldn't mind seeing something like that. That would just be like a crash and bang. Young, not so much young. I guess McMahon is like the oldest rookie ever, but younger
young guys, even though he's like 27.
Right. Yeah. Like I wouldn't mind that. But there's a lot of options. I guess for me, kind of before we get out of here, I think like the goaltending is a thing that and I guess you might not know until the final game of the year, and then it might not really ever be a definitive.
Truly be answered.
Maybe not, but I'd like to see it. Is more where I'm going. I'd like to know that, and I'm not even saying it needs to be Wall for me, even though he's a guy I'd prefer, more confident. But I'd want it to be where it's like, okay, Sammy took the job and ran with it, or Wall did. And I worry we won't get that. And then it's going to be like, okay, so I guess it's going to be Sammy in game 1. And then if he's not good, do we go back to him? I don't know. So I'd like that to get more solidified.
I do think it will be Wool tomorrow.
Yeah, it should be, I would think.
I would think so. I don't think Samsonov exactly played amazing. So yeah, it should. I think it should be Wool tomorrow, and then
Sammy against the Habs Saturday.
Yeah, probably back to Sammy against the Habs. But
yeah,
what are any bets you're placing for tomorrow? Quickly before you go.
Yeah, let's check out the odds. I'm sure they're up by now. What do we got? Let's see, FanDuel. The Leafs are checking in at a minus 142 money line favorite. Can't be too surprised being the home team. Typical 6.5 over under. That's kind of the standard for every Leaf game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd know more depending on if Marner's in, if Riley's in. That will obviously.
I'd go with the over regardless.
Over seems like the right play.
I think I'd stick with the over. And the Leafs are just riding high right now. So are the Lightning. So money line bets are going to be hard to come by. I'd probably go with Tampa plus 1.5. It'll be a close game.
Okay. I was going to ask you, would you take the Leaf puck line? But I guess you just answered that you would not.
Yeah, the puck line's so weird because I feel like every game is 1-goal game, and then you're kind of betting on that empty netter.
Yeah.
So
and especially with the way the Leafs are in the third period, I don't think I'd ever feel good about taking them on the puck line.
No.
Even if they're a huge favorite, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Maybe I'll take their team.
It's the Leaf experience. It's the Leaf experience. They could be up 5-0 like they were against Edmonton, but you're still holding your breath until the last minute.
Yeah, or 5-1 last night. Yeah, we've seen that enough, that's for sure. All right, man. Well, it was definitely good chatting and talking about at least a fun fun heater the team's on.
Yeah.
We'll do it again on Thursday.
For sure. After we hopefully beat Tampa.
You got it. Vibes are good, though. Got to keep it that way. See you, man. Have a good one.
You too.
See you, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.